So, welcome. With me today is Bhupinder from Digital Smile. We're here to discuss everything that his business does and how it can help your business. So, thank you for joining me, Bhupinder.
Thank you for having me. That
Could you give me like a sort of rundown, a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the business, how did you come to where you are and Digital Smile at the moment?
Sure. Um, so been in business now for about 12 odd years. Um, and my background has been technology and IT. So I used to work for companies such as O2 as a project manager. Um, but like with a number of people in my situation, when redundancy came, I decided to use my skills and experience to help local businesses, especially use technology for their business. Uh, and I've done a range of things from websites to uh, location based marketing. But one thing remained consistent throughout that period, and that was reviews, um, customers based decisions based upon what other people are saying about a business. And throughout that period, that's one thing that didn't change.
Interesting.
So then I decided to focus my business primarily on helping local businesses to really um, collect reviews easily and to be able to use them then to bring in more business. At the end of the day, it's all about leveraging technology to bring business in for yourself.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I've often found myself, especially like you say, when you're in that mode for buying things or making a decision on where you're going to go, the reviews are kind of the thing you cling on to because you can get a quick gauge on who's like what are they saying, how many have they got, what's the quality. So yeah, no, I think it's extremely important.
And absolutely, we've really been conditioned by the likes of Amazon
Hmm.
to think that way. So
Yes,
there's no
yeah,
going
yeah.
back.
No, I think I find myself it's usually the price, then the reviews, and then the pictures. Do you know what I mean? They're certainly up there as a massive deciding factor. So, yeah. So could you give someone like a simple explanation of what Digital Smile does and the type of businesses that you normally help?
Sure. So, so Digital Smile is all around uh, increasing visibility for local businesses, and we do that primarily with our system called Review Ask, where we help them to easily collect reviews, and once they've got the reviews, to respond to them. Now, responding to reviews needs to be personal. So now we use AI to help really draft that first response for business to reply to reviews. Um, in the part, I mean, business owners are busy as we all are, and to give a proper response, you have to think about it because reviewers have actually spent their time actually thinking of something to write. So you have to then respond accordingly, and AI helps us to do that. Um, so we also and the other thing that people really miss around about reviews are telling a story about your business from your customers. And if you've got like, 10 reviews or 100 reviews, buried within there are nuggets. And we also use AI to pick that data out and to really tell the business what people are saying and thinking about their business, their strong points and their weak points. So the weak points, then they can then develop to really overcome those issues.
No, it's a really brilliant point. I've often found that yes, it's true. When I'm working with a client, say, and I can speak to them, and you can almost speak to their customers, but what you gain from reading the reviews is kind of priceless because you begin to see, as you say, patterns, consistency, repetitive comments, and insights that they're so useful. And like you said, because you've got all that aggregated data, you can actually see that quite clearly. So that's super valuable when it comes to kind of what are we good at? What do people like? What kind of marketing messages can we do? What things can we kind of improve on? So yeah, I think it's a completely untapped gold mine of information. So I'd agree with you there.
It is, and big organizations have teams of people that look into these.
Yeah.
Whereas now with AI, local businesses are really getting on the same level, on the same playing field to be able to get that sort of information and use it to really improve their business.
And I guess it probably gives that a sense of objectivity, because if you're running a business, you feel, oh, we're good at this, or people come to us because of that. And that's probably because they've asked friends and family who've been polite enough to say, "Oh, we love
Yes.
something about you." But having that objectivity, like I guess it's the thing of, I remember ages ago I was gathering testimonials for a new website, and I went back and I found loads of. I store my testimonials on a Notion board, and it's not like an ego thing. I don't go and read it every now and then and think, aren't I brilliant? But what was lovely was to read them and begin to see, oh, there's a commonality here of people saying how nice I am, which felt good because it's just like, well, I want to
Yes,
be nice and I want them to like me and enjoy working with me. So to see that kind of in lots of different reviews when you're going through them is really good. So I'd imagine, yes, that having AI to be able to pick up patterns that that is completely objective but actually validated is super valuable.
sure. Yeah.
And I guess, so why are reviews so important as far as building a company's reputation?
It's I mean, like I said earlier, it's really around, there's a number of things. One is that as consumers, we're conditioned to look at reviews because it's almost like someone else is giving you a digital referral. Um, and the second reasons will be that uh, companies like Google and other search engines use this independent um, validation of your business to help the visibility of your business on the particular search engines. Now, in the past, it just used to be Google, but now that we're moving forward, people are starting to use some of the AI engines really to ask questions. So
Interesting.
it's getting more important that that you are actually collecting the reviews, and then these systems are then reading them again. At, it's someone else validating your business. So it's telling them that you're doing a great job, and it's telling them that you are in this area serving this type of business. Because you got to bear in mind, all these are systems, they're programs, and they look for certain things,
Yeah.
and you have to feed them content for them
That's
to realize what
interesting.
you do.
So yeah, so as you say, they're an add-on to what you might put on your website because they're complementing. Basically, I'm thinking about my daughter loves tiramisu. She's obsessed with it. And so if you were going, we want to go out for lunch, and my wife's like, well, I like Italian. And I'm like, well, okay, which Italian in the Windsor has got the best tiramisu? If I search for that, there's probably a good chance that if your tiramisu is good and people are mentioning it in their reviews, that'll come up. I'll read that and go, well, according to all these people, it's pretty good. So therefore, I'm not going to get shouted at if it's not. So I'm going to go, look, that's what they were selling me. And it's kind of, I've always
Absolutely.
felt it's that thing of it's a shortcut of trust, isn't it? Because if you're trying somewhere new, particularly, you want to know that you can rely on that place. Often there's the pressure. If you're going on a date somewhere or you're buying something for someone, you want to know it's trustworthy. And if you don't know the business very well, what else have you got to go on? And reviews, like you say, they're perfect. It's people putting their reputation on the line.
No, absolutely. And then going back to AI, we actually uh, ask AI a question, and that's exactly the sort of question that you may ask. What you
Yeah.
just said, which restaurant has the best tiramisu? Before, you couldn't really do that with Google, um,
No.
but now it is more and more important that you're feeding all these engines everything about your business through through the lens of your customers, really.
And it would be weird if you were building a fixation on SEO for tiramisu in the local area, if you know what I mean, on your website, like doing articles about it. And even if you said like,
Who
we've
knows?
got the best tiramisu in Windsor, and it's like, that's a bit weird. Well, get over yourself. Like you say you have, but I want to see proof. So, okay, I love that. That's really good. I guess the other thing would be, what are the most common mistakes that businesses make when it comes to sort of collecting or managing their reviews?
Yeah, I mean, that's easy. It's hoping that you, since you've provided a great service or you've provided a great meal, um, that people will give you a review. So
Yes.
what commonly happens is that people are grateful. They may have an intention to give you a review, but then life gets in the way and then they don't end up doing it. Conversely, if someone's had a bad experience, now they are motivated to leave you that review of their experience. Um, and unfortunately, if you are not actively asking for reviews, then what tends to happen, occasionally everybody makes a mistake. Um, and those people that have had a bad experience are motivated to do it and they will go and do it.
Oh, again, this is interesting because obviously having run a hotel, I got quite fixated on being number one on TripAdvisor in the area. And you get quite proud but I didn't do what you're saying. I didn't like push for reviews. I was very much like, look, if I don't want to ask for it, if they like it, they'll leave it. And until one busy August morning in the middle of breakfast, someone phones up wanting to book a room. No problem. Can I take your details? I'll call you back when we finished. Forgot to call her back. Totally on me. Went on TripAdvisor. She gave us basically the lowest possible ranking across the board, even though she'd never stayed with us. And when I say to TripAdvisor, I don't think this is fair because she hasn't even stayed. I just forgot to call her back and I did apologize. They said, there's nothing you can do. You're just going to have to call her and convince her to take it down. And that hammered our average. And I
Yeah,
remember going, I wish I'd asked for more reviews to counter that because you say when people are motivated, and look, negative reviews, it's not a problem. We're not for everyone. I think if you had purely positive, it would be suspicious. So the odd negative
absolutely.
review is kind of, I know people that go, I'll look at the 5-star and the 1-star and I'll make my mind up. But it's great to have lots of reviews that will, if you do get the odd negative one, which can happen, it won't overall kind of damage that rating that you get on Google. So I think, as you say, having a system in place that means, well, I'm actually asking while they're happy instead of hoping that they'll do it is great.
Absolutely. It's it's really trying to build that into your process. Um, and the other thing when it comes to the receiving a negative review, which is really, as a business owner, it's very an emotional thing.
It stings, I have to say. It's very hard to not get angry. That's probably where the AI saves you a bit because you start going,
Exactly,
"Why you? What you?" And it's like, "Hold on, let's just be calm, very diplomatic."
100%. Because you've got to bear in mind, you're actually responding to the internet. You're not
Yeah,
responding to the person. If you respond with negativity, even if you're the nicest person in the world, someone else that doesn't know you will read that and think, do I really want to go to this particular business?
we've all seen it, haven't we? Where owners have slightly lost it and they've gone a bit crazy, and it's like you can feel the internet is sort of, "Oh, hello, we've got one." Do you know what I mean? Like it's like a bull, and what you can feel. No, we've lost him. He's ranting and raving and playing. It's all got a bit personal. And as you say, you read that and you go, it was going so well until whatever happened, and you kind of the humanity or the passion, so we say, that makes running a business, that's
Of
essential for
course.
running a business. But if it spills over and start lashing out at people, it can get ugly quick. So I'd imagine the AI is great for kind of guarding you against yourself in a way.
It's got no skin in the game. It will look at it and it'll give you what AI does. It'll draft the first response.
Yeah.
Then you really have to go and tweak it and make it more personal.
Yeah, it's yes, I can imagine. No, like you said, you can cool down and go, okay, that's probably what I should say. It's always like people always use the word allegedly after they say something where they could get sued. It's kind of just to cover themselves. But I know it's super awkward to ask for reviews. So I'd love to know, like, what's the best way of doing it, because you don't want to feel like you're not begging, but
Yeah.
it's just a bit, awkward's probably the best way I could put it. So what's the best way to do it naturally?
So there's a number of approaches. One is really to have that sort of mentality that this is part of your business, um, and really, it's really just simple thing is to ask people, um, and ask them when you've done a great job. So if for example, if you're a plumber, and you've just helped someone with a massive leak, and they're really grateful, ask them at that point. But secondly, you've got to make it easy for people to do it. So in the plumbing example, maybe you will have a card with a QR code, which is easy to print out, which then directs people straight to your Google profile. So just they scan it and they're able to do it. Um, if you're say a car garage, have some signs up where people are in the waiting room, so people are able to scan the code and again give you that review. But it really boils down to asking. Now,
Okay.
some businesses can't ask straight away, in which case then you reach out using other mediums like, for example, SMS or email. Um, but at the end of the day, if you don't ask, you're not going to get.
No.
And going back to the previous point, if someone's motivated because you've had a bad experience, they will give you that review.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got to ask the happy people and tell them it'll help them. It'll help your business. Um, Now, this particular question, I'm not quite sure about because never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. But this in this particular case, I don't. Uh, One way to do is ask them if they read a review before they came to your business.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a
Now,
good one.
if they did, say, well, would you want to help other people? You know, by giving your opinion online as well.
I think, as you said, it's kind of if they've had a nice time and you're being sincere, I kind of feel with I would love to support an independent business if I can, if you know what I mean. Like you kind of go, the least I can do is I can support you financially, but also if I can give a review that's going to help.
Percent.
I think there is a kind of not charitable, but you do feel like you'll contribute to something that will make you feel proud. And I also know if you look at two comparative businesses and say it's got an 8 on Google and it's got 25 reviews, but if other business has got like 4.3 and it's got 864 reviews, even though technically the review is lower, but the sheer volume is more important, in fact, than the actual kind of higher mark, I would say, because like I said, it's the consistency of people willing to endorse that business is
Yep.
such a big factor.
That's absolutely true. But one point to bear in mind is that you can't be complacent. Even if, say, you've got 500 reviews and your nearest competitor's got 200, the actual velocity of the reviews is important. So if those 500 reviews and you haven't had one for 6 months,
But
whereas
okay,
your competitor is getting a review every other week,
of course.
people tend to see, oh, this person hasn't had anything for 6 months. What's going on? The number is important, but also consistency in getting those reviews.
Okay,
Uh,
so that obviously helps with this because, as you say, this is how your system is helping get reviews by consistently asking. And like I said, it's even if it's just simply a numbers game. 20 people you ask is better than no one, and actually, the odds are quite a few people will do it if you're doing your job right.
no, 100%. And also with the number of reviews, you've really got to measure it with your competitors. For example, I work with an architect. They're not going to get 100 reviews. Conversely, I work with a hairdresser. They are going to get 100 reviews.
Yes. Yeah.
So you really got to look at your competitors in your area and
Got
make
it.
sure that
Okay.
you're actually benchmarking your review experience with themselves.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fair point, definitely. I'm interested in this. So we've got a holiday property and it's on the market with, well, not on the market, but we rent it through Sykes Cottages. And one of the things they said to me was, you need to respond to your reviews more. And I was like, oh, I thought if they were good, then that was enough. And they were like, no, no, no. Even if it's bad or good, it doesn't matter. People like to see that you're responding and you're engaging. And this conversation has reminded me that I probably need to go and check because I was pretty good. I was up to speed until Christmas. But like you said, clearly this is a big factor because it was like a big long list of stuff they put for me to do to improve the visibility of our cottage. So talk to me about how businesses should respond. I understand negatively, take a breath,
Yep.
let the AI save you from yourself. What about positively? Do you run out of sort of things to say that sound very nice or like,
No, you should obviously. Okay, so what you have to really remember is it's not easy to write a review. even if you've had a fantastic experience, like for example myself, I'm dyslexic. For me to sit down and write a review is hard. Um, so if someone has taken the time to write you a review, then you've got to take the time to actually read that review and respond. Um, so generic responses are almost as bad as no response.
Yeah, I
You've
was
got
gonna
to
say because when
respond to
you
that
read
person.
that, they just feel a bit fake and a bit flat, and I guess, yeah, you want to see, like you say, matching that energy, don't you, in a way, and being really
No,
sincere.
exactly. Um, and AI helps you to draft the first response. Never copy and paste. You've got to make it somewhat personal. Um, it'll help you with the response, but then you've got to tweak it for that particular review. Uh, but definitely use AI. It's a massive time saver,
Okay.
both net positive and obviously the negative ones as well. And when it comes to negative, you must give a response, even if you disagree with the person 100%. Give a a thoughtful "we are sorry" response. But again, don't be negative.
Yeah. Oh, or sarcastic, although it's tempting, I guess I
Of
could
course.
just I d it's a funny one because 'cause I've seen that where someone has obviously got a negative review that felt, like, targeted and fake,
Yes.
and then it can go the other way, like, the owner's actually gone and weighed in and actually stood up for someone in the business,
Yep.
and it's gone quite well, but as you say, they're using their passion in a constructive way rather than, like you say, going with the first draft and just going, "Well, I just wanna get this done." It's, "No, no, this is actually an opportunity because if we can," it's fine to go, "Yeah, look, we're really sorry, won't let that happen again." But sometimes, as you say, having a real think, you can make the response as compelling sometimes as the review itself. I know I've certainly, when I've sensed that the owner has got a bit of character, I will go and I'll read more reviews because I'm interested to see how they're responding, if you know what I mean? So it's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that makes sense. And I guess, can you give an example of a business that has improved their reputation or has, grown significantly after getting this review strategy correct?
Yeah, sure. So, the one that comes straight into mind is a hairdresser in Slough. Um, it so I've been working with them for some time, uh, but he was a bit reluctant originally to give a review from the fear of getting a bad one. I think business owners do have that sort of in the back of their head, you know,
So he didn't want to get any reviews at all just in case.
just in case someone gave him a bad one. Um, and it took a little bit of not sort of talking and really getting through to them that if someone is not happy, they're going to tell you about it.
Yes, they're going to find a way, even if it's through, say, social
Yeah,
media, aren't they? So yeah,
and they'll let you know. Um, so what we did with this particular business bit was really to coach their staff with the importance of reviews for one,
nice.
and to make sure they actually understand how important these are. Um, so that they would actually ask their customers. Um, but then what we also did was put up like a QR code poster, like I mentioned earlier, which helped significantly because when people were waiting in the waiting room and they've been there before, someone would get their phone out and just leave them a review.
Yes, as you say, it's kind of they're there, they're on their phone
They're not
anyway.
doing much. Click.
But that's interesting. Okay, so that's good. And they've obviously, because it is, it's a bit like showing up on Google on the first page. If you're not ranking when people are searching for a type of business, I mean, I think I'd imagine it's devastating. Really, you've got to be at least in the race, haven't you?
It is, yeah, it is. And but this hairdresser is now ranking in the top three within the maps. Google Maps is where you really need to be for a
But
local
that's great,
business.
isn't it? Because you search based on where you are,
Yeah,
and they show up in the bar on the side usually, don't they?
yeah.
Okay, wow.
And a lot of that attributed to the reviews.
And I guess, I mean, strong reviews can really help sales and reputation and everything, can't it? So it's kind of,
Yeah, it's like people are they kind of already know and like and trust you before they turn up because they've already looked at your reviews. They've seen what other people have, what kind of experience other people have had, and then um they take that. when they come to the business. Now, the other area, which is even more challenging than getting written reviews, is getting video reviews.
Yes, yeah.
But that's a different story altogether.
Okay, so once upon a time, there were two men discussing video reviews. Tell me the story.
It's the um the difference with videos when it comes to with the regular reviews, you're actually constrained by the review platform itself. For example, Google's got a lot of terms and conditions which change regularly.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
so, for example, you can't incentivize anybody to leave you a review. Now, when it comes to video, you can incentivize people not to give you a fake review, but to leave you a review. Um,
Okay.
one of the garages that I work with, um, once someone's had an MOT, I've convinced the owner. I said, "Look, leave us a review, and the MOT is free.
Wow.
You don't need too many of these. All you need is a half a dozen reviews of a cross
What's
section
that?
of
What's that
people."
garage my son needs his MOT doing? I'll happily,
Actually, I'll let you know on Friday.
yeah, absolutely. I'll have to, yeah, try and think how many times can I do this? I've got to get some costumes and it's just a
So,
moustache and a wig, and I'm like,
but if you think about that, so say the MOT is 50 quid,
yeah, yeah,
and a genuine video review, do you think that's gonna help people decide to use that particular garage?
yeah. They're
Eh,
massive. It's like I said, if you're looking in the area and it's like you're on the MOT page and someone leaves a review, that's as you say. There's so
Oof.
much more trust and credibility doing that. It's so impactful. If anything, I would say if you scroll a landing page and you see lots of heads of videos that you haven't even clicked on, you're going, wow, there's
Yeah,
a lot of people willing to vouch for this person. I'm fairly confident that what they're
no,
offering is
exactly.
legit. Yeah. So they're working even if they're not being viewed, in my opinion, I have to say. So that's really powerful.
Yeah, because businesses are not really doing them
No, no. But it,
as
yeah.
of yet, but they are really getting more and more important.
No, I can imagine. And also it's not that hard to do, because we've all got our phones in our pocket, and it's kind of if you are just in the mood, it's getting easier with FaceTime and social media, and almost the being genuine and authentic is it's real currency. People respond better to that than something overly polished or scripted. So just speaking from the
Or
heart on video is great.
you're absolutely right, that is authenticity.
Yes.
People are not they're getting a bit, tired of, slick
Yes.
videos, which a company has spent tens of thousands of pounds. Um, d they wanna see, genuine.
It's true, isn't it? It's kind of you feel they're slightly overcompensating for something, which is awful because if you've put all your effort into getting good quality production, it's a bit mortifying. But I know what you mean. People just want to believe that you're telling the truth. So I guess if someone's watching this and they're thinking, right, I want to improve my review starting tomorrow. Now, of course, they could call you and you'd come in and sort them out. But is there anything in the short term before they bring you in? Is there anything that they could be doing?
Yes. So step one is really to improve your service. Not saying you could have a bad service, but make sure that's the starting point, is to have a fantastic service, provide a brilliant experience for your customers or clients, and then to ask for that review. And more importantly, is to make it really, really easy for them to leave that review. So, what I mentioned earlier was a QR code. So if you want them to leave a Google review, put that on the QR code. Everybody's got a smartphone these days, and everybody
Yep.
knows how to use QR codes.
Yep.
Simple, straightforward. To do that, secondly, respond to your reviews. That is so important for the customer that's left it, because they get emailed that you
Okay.
responded.
Of course. And then they can go
Just a
and check
reminder
in.
that
Yeah.
so Google will email them that you responded. Secondly, it's a massive signal to Google that you're engaged with your business. And then thirdly, when you have all of this social proof, put it onto your website. So
Of
when
course.
people
Yeah.
go there, they can see that. And
Yes.
here's a tip. If you don't have a review page on your website, create one. Um, call it /reviews. and put all your reviews on there. Because when one of the searches that people do when they're coming to that final stage of deciding what business to use is they'll put the business name reviews.
Yeah, I've done that.
And if you've got that page, which is optimized for your business with reviews, it'll show up.
Of course, and if you're doing it and you're regularly active doing that, Google wants to show you, and it will help you show up as well, won't it?
Yes.
That's great, amazing. So I guess I'm interested in the service aspect because we've talked about this bit before, and I really love the fact you were talking about the guy they were training their staff to ask reviews, and I think I remember saying like the quality and the volume of reviews is a really good indicator that you're doing something right in your business.
Yeah.
I guess when you're looking at a company's reviews online through your expert eyes, what are the signs that you can tell that this is a well-run business? So again, if I'm looking and you're the review don and you go, okay, there are things that I'm seeing that you're not perhaps that. These are things which are really good signs to look for, to really see that this business is going above and beyond.
Sure. Um, it's all the points that we've already mentioned, really. One is they're getting regular reviews. Two, people actually writing comment on the reviews. Just someone just putting a 5-star review and not writing anything is um, valuable, but not as valuable as actually putting in real feedback. Other thing is that the business owner is responding to the reviews in a timely manner. And the response is actually genuine, related to that particular review. Um, and thirdly, if they can, and they understand the value of the reviews and they're using that asset throughout their business, through their social media, putting it onto their website, using that as a advertising asset.
I'd also imagine that the reviews are great for staff morale.
Yeah,
If you go the weekend, if you've had
yeah.
like 5 great reviews and you call your team in and go, right, well, this is the reviews we had over the weekend, everyone's going to feel amazing. They're going to, it's just a no-brainer, isn't it? Just to build your culture.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that's a good point actually, that we're able to do, depending on the business is it's almost like a track reviews. So, for example, if you have a competition, you're a restaurant and you've got like a 5 people serving, you have a competition, like how many reviews can you get? And the one that gets the most reviews, you get a prize.
Yes, if they're mentioning you by
Yeah,
name, it's like, there he is again. That's great. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, yes, that's the thing. It's amazing. Well, it's not quite review. I mean, again, I should have been thinking about this before, but when we gave sausages away to dog owners at our hotel, the thing that I saw was not only did it result in loads of really good business, but the staff became competitive to do it
yeah.
because they enjoyed feeling amazing in front of the guests because they were the hero. And I kind of think it's the same thing, isn't it? As you're training people to sort of not only ask for the reviews, but get your name in there because that again is fantastic, just as an indicator that you're doing a good
No,
job.
100%, 100%.
No, I love that. Okay, so finally, who is your ideal business for Digital Smile, and who do you normally help? Who should we be reaching? Who do we want to be if we're somewhere listening? Who we
Yeah.
want to be sharing this with? Who do you want to work with?
So we primarily work with local businesses. Now, with that, you could be a restaurant with a physical location, or you could be like an electrician or a plumber that you go out to people. Um, but it's primarily for local businesses. So if you're in the local space, um, and people are using reviews to find you, to trust to your business, um, oh, there are ideal partners to work with.
So as you said, it's a bit like based on your background before. It's kind of locality, Google Maps with Google Search with Google Reviews, all kind of working together to go. You want local people who are kind of out there, foot traffic, who are going to find you and support you.
100%.
Okay.
And with Google, they are really, really focusing on local.
And I'd imagine that if you're helping people get video reviews for local, that's huge because people, naturally not everyone's on it, as you've said. But if you're doing local reviews and you're getting good, consistent reviews and you're getting really good video reviews, because I guess in the world of like e-commerce and online marketing, video testimonials are much more, they're very common because all the coaches and all the people know how
Yes.
valuable they are. I don't see many like video reviews for a pizza place or, I don't see it locally or very much on, I suppose the close endorsement I've seen is where you put like local guide under someone's name. Google will sometimes put that and you can see how many reviews that person's left.
Yep.
But to see those video reviews to help businesses get that and also sort of recalibrate their focus on getting the reviews and empowering and in getting their staff excited, I can kind of see how just bringing you in to help what was initially get a few more reviews can really galvanize the whole business to make more money, build their reputation, really buy into the local community and just, sail to the top. Perfect. Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely. It's it just really comes down to, business owners are experts at what they do. Um, and reviews, it's something that we can help them to really use that for their business in an automatic fashion. Um,
Yes, just becomes part of their processes, how
yeah,
they operate and about their culture.
and without really taking too much time away from their business, because that's the key. You don't want to be looking at a report that's meaningless, um, or logging into a system that you don't really want to, because it's just taking time away from your business. Um, so the key is to make it easy for the business owner and for their customers to be able to leave and take those reviews for the business.
Perfect. Love it. So, Bhupinder, if people want to reach out and get you to come in and have a chat about possibly working with them, where can they find out more information about you?
Sure. The easiest thing would be actually to reach me on email me, which is bk at digital smile with a y smyle.com. Or you can give me a call.
Perfect.
Yeah,
We'll find you. There'll be people who just look for the reviews and you'll find him and
sure.
be happy to help. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Bhupinder. Appreciate the chat.
Thank you, Thad.